There's a curious story turning up in the media today about it's an unsettling but important question. Is the Channel migrant crisis being deliberately exacerbated by Russia or indeed is controlled by Russia as a means of destabilizing Britain? We know that migration is a deeply complex phenomenon with genuine human suffering at its core, but increasingly security analysts, journalists, and policymakers are asking whether state actors are exploiting these dynamics for political ends. So, begin with the facts on the ground. This year alone, over 18,000 people have crossed the Channel in small boats. The first 5 months of 2025 saw a record 15,000 arrivals. Camps in northern France are dismantled by police only to reappear. Smugglers adapt constantly to law enforcement tactics. And despite extensive UK funding for French police, the flow is not reducing but rising. The British public's confidence in border control is collapsing, and this failure is not simply bureaucratic ineptitude or the inevitable result of global inequality. Some argue it is being cynically weaponized. And recent reports in the British press claim that Vladimir Putin's Russia and its ally Belarus are directly involved in fueling these migrant flows. Security sources allege that Russia provides false documentation, transportation, and even military escorts to people smugglers. Why would Russia do this? The logic is simple. By overwhelming Britain's border defences, Moscow could sow domestic division, strain public services, amplify social tensions, and this is not unprecedented. Russia has long practiced hybrid warfare, cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and support for populist movements. Migration pressure can be used as another tool in this toolkit, and NATO itself has started to acknowledge that border security is a matter of collective defence. The boundary between traditional military threats and manipulation of migrant flows is blurring, but let's be careful. Is there proof? The evidence is largely circumstantial or based on intelligence sources speaking anonymously. There's no public dossier conclusively proving Kremlin command and control of smuggling networks in France. However, we do have precedents. In 2021, Belarus under Lukashenko funneled migrants to the Polish and Lithuanian borders, using them as global leverage. Russian state media often amplifies migration chaos in Europe, fueling polarization, and security services have repeatedly warned that Russia seeks to exploit any European vulnerability. It is therefore possible that Moscow might see the Channel crisis as an attractive lever. However, to claim Russia is solely responsible for the Channel crisis would be simplistic and misleading. First, the primary drivers of migration remain genuine, and the genuine push factors: conflict, poverty, persecution. Second, the pull factors in Britain are very real: relatively high asylum acceptance rates, access to healthcare, work opportunities in the black economy. Third, European border failures and inadequate coordination also share the blame. Of course, one of the pull factors is the fact that Britain has been so successful in marketing English as a foreign language. If Russia is involved, it's exploiting an existing weakness, not creating it from nothing. And if there is even a possibility of hostile state involvement, what should Britain do? It requires not only robust border controls, but intelligent diplomacy and international cooperation, sharing intelligence with France, Europol, and NATO, cracking down on smuggling gangs with counter-terror style operations, addressing both push and pull factors honestly. National security must start with realism, not slogans. The idea that Russia is managing or encouraging the Channel migrant crisis is not a conspiracy theory without foundation. It's an hypothesis that deserves serious, sober scrutiny. Britain must avoid naive assumptions. Migration is not only a humanitarian issue but can also be weaponized by malign actors. And to secure our borders is not to reject compensation and compassion, it's to protect the integrity of our society against those who would see it divided and weakened.